Dear ladies and gentlemen, President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
Спасибо большое. Прошу вас. Благодарю вас, уважаемые.
Dear forum participants, ladies and gentlemen, friends, welcome to the International Forum of United Cultures. We are sincerely glad to welcome back to Russia ministers of arts and education from around the world. I am sure that your professional dialogue, free from stereotypes and bias, will contribute to the expansion of cooperation and joint work between states and peoples, and will translate the motto of the current forum, return to culture, new opportunities, into vibrant, sought-after modern projects. It is deeply symbolic that this year one of the main venues of the forum is located here in Tsarskoye Selo. I hope all of you will enjoy these beautiful masterpieces. These wonderful interiors, the splendor of the Catherine Palace and its park ensembles is born of the harmony of different cultural traditions, embodies the ability of peoples to unite ideas, create works of art together, from generation to generation. All this serves as a visible evidence of the unifying and creative power of culture. These approaches are the essence and meanings of our forum. They reflect the importance of languages, customs, and artistic heritage of each nation to the whole world, and the highest value of their diversity, which harmoniously shapes our civilization. All of our forums, and the 11th is already taking place, have affirmed the main, key principle: the brighter, richer, more distinctive this diversity is, the richer our common cultural heritage, the more stable and successful the future of the entire planet. In Russia, we firmly know that national culture can develop and enrich itself only through interaction with other cultures. Our country was originally formed as a multinational, and it was this priceless gift that determined its unique cultural palette and the status of a truly great power with its art, science, and literature. By the way, literary creativity is in itself a great environment for communication, and we advocate for strengthening the interaction of writers from different countries. History proves that the brightest periods of cultural flourishing occur during their active interaction with the outside world. Conversely, when a society closes in on itself and blindly, dogmatically believes in its exclusivity and superiority over others, a period of spiritual and intellectual crisis sets in, followed by cultural decline and stagnation, and in all spheres of life. We must strive for a balance between preserving national values and being open to those influences that promote development and progress. Mixing traditions and techniques often creates world-class masterpieces, and personal contacts help artists, writers, and musicians find non-standard forms of realizing their talents, stimulate creative thinking and the emergence of new directions. The dialogue of cultures is becoming particularly important now, in an era of rapid development of technologies, including artificial intelligence. They are making today's world more interconnected, opening up enormous opportunities for creativity, bold experiments, and innovation, including in culture. At the same time, our common task is to avoid risks, negative social and social consequences, in particular, the erosion and devaluation of the value of freedom and human rights, ethical and moral norms, the loss of national characteristics and cultural diversity, without which world harmony is impossible. It is obvious that technology contributes to the accelerated dissemination of ideas. Artificial intelligence, for example, analyzes huge amounts of data and predicts trends. However, I believe that original solutions that can lead to discoveries and breakthroughs in science, art, and the social sphere can only provide inspiration and the genius of a person, a true master and creator, and of course, the interaction and mutual trust of representatives of different cultures. Humanity will have to master a new reality, and at the same time preserve the roots that serve as our support. We believe that the world of the future is not a world of egoists completely immersed in cyberspace, and not of individuals living on the principle of every man for himself, but of people who still value love and friendship, cherish their loved ones, understand their inseparable connection with society and responsibility to it. It is no coincidence that in Russia many cultural development programs are concentrated in the National Family Project. We see this as the key to solving demographic issues, creating conditions for the self-realization of young people and their successful future, and educating decent citizens on a solid foundation of national and the best examples of world culture. For Russia, the priority is to support families with children, strengthen the authority of the institution of the family and its values. After all, our identity and national character itself are deeply rooted in the family. She teaches, educates, transmits traditions, and is the main guardian of our culture. Of course, many of those sitting here, almost everyone, know one of the classic definitions of culture: it's information passed down from generation to generation. And those very spiritual and moral values are the result of tireless work, searching for more than a dozen generations, and each one has added a new worldview to the one that already existed before it. Everything that we call heritage today was acutely contemporary art at the time of its creation, whether it was the tale of bygone years, known to every Russian citizen, or the artistic avant-garde of the early 20th century. Yes, and the great Russian classics, Pushkin, Lermontov, Gogol, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, Chekhov, and many others were the authors of works that were ahead of their time, causing the most heated debates when they created. But it was precisely this kind of innovation that created a tradition, vibrant, open to change, and responsive to the demands of society. And in order for it to continue, it must be enriched by new generations of craftsmen. It is encouraging that today in Russia, there is a noticeable renewal. Various spheres of cultural life, creative associations and unions are gaining new strength, including the Union of Writers of Russia, which consolidates prominent representatives of the literary community in its ranks. Leading theatres, music and art groups are led by young creators, and this is a positive phenomenon that reflects healthy succession processes. The emergence of new names in literature, cinema, and the visual arts is also facilitated by the government policy that we are pursuing. In Russia, the tasks of comprehensive support for young people, assistance in realizing the rights to freedom of all types of creativity, assistance in discovering talents and further professional growth are fixed at the legislative level. Affordable and high-quality education for gifted children is provided by the Russian system of continuous creative education, which has no analogues in the world. These are specialized schools, colleges, and higher education institutions. Every year we hold many festivals and contests of various kinds for young actors, artists, musicians, and dancers. We also provide support to promising aspiring professionals through a system of awards, grants, and scholarships. We pay considerable attention to the development of regional cultural centers. This allows us to find and discover talents even in small towns and villages, providing equal starting opportunities for gifted youth. For all residents of our country, of course, there is still a lot to be done, especially in small towns and small towns. But we will definitely support this trend, and it is still gaining momentum. We are opening new theatres and concert halls in the regions, cultural centres and galleries, centres of folk art, traditional crafts and crafts, restoring cultural and historical heritage sites, and providing all conditions for citizens, public organizations, patrons, and business representatives to participate in such projects. By the way, I would like to thank the business representatives for their participation. We hope that our successful cultural practices can be in demand in other countries by our friends, and we are certainly ready to share this experience with all partners and, together with them, fill the global cultural space with exciting events. I would like to present one of them today. Dear friends, we are grateful to our like-minded people who supported Russia's initiative to revive the international music competition Intervision, a wonderful venue where songs reflected the identity of peoples, the diversity of cultures and traditions. I'm convinced that modern Intervision will fully preserve this atmosphere of creativity and friendship, and will become another confirmation that authentic art has no borders, and its unifying power is immeasurable. I wish all the contestants successful performances. There is no doubt that they will make a significant contribution to strengthening the dialogue between cultures and peoples. I would like to emphasize once again that we attach one of the priority values to the cultural and humanitarian dimension in the framework of international cooperation. This topic was also raised during the recent meeting of the leaders of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, including in the context of plans to counter extremist ideology. We know what threats it poses, what terrible tragedies it leads to. We consider one of the most important tasks in the field of culture to be the preservation of a common historical memory that truly unites our peoples, nourishes their spiritual bonds of mutual understanding and trust. This year, we celebrate the 80th anniversary of the end of World War I and the Great Patriotic War. Eternal gratitude to the veterans and home front workers. The memory of millions of dead civilians victims of Nazism, pride in the generation of winners, have become an integral, significant part of our culture, and to this day are embodied in works of art, paintings, books, films, memorials, serve to educate young people responsible for their country, for the security of the entire world community. I am convinced that the role of culture in international cooperation, in countering neo-Nazism, Russophobia, anti-Semitism, and any forms of racism, national and religious intolerance, should only grow. And here, first of all, we count on your support, on the help of cultural figures, on specific initiatives that can enrich our common humanitarian space. I know that the Forum's program includes many professional discussions and creative meetings. We will try to take your ideas and suggestions into account as much as possible when working with partners in all international organizations where we are actively present. These are the SCO, which I have already mentioned, the BRICS, and other international structures. I would like to emphasize once again, our task in the modern world is to unite efforts to preserve the identity and diversity of cultures, traditions, and worldviews, to move forward, support innovation, create together true art that elevates creativity and raises the best qualities in the human soul, counteract the threats of extinction of small cultures, and promote the principles of justice and equality in relations between peoples, freeing the world from prejudice, double standards, and attempts to abolish a particular culture. We must strive for openness and respect for each other, be ready to learn new things, and contribute to the strengthening and development of the global cultural space, which means a decent, peaceful, and prosperous future for our peoples. I want to wish you all the best and fruitful work. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you. Good luck.